Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Conqueror's Blade. So today I kind of wanted to take a little bit a look at armor reconditioning and weapon reconditioning, because it's something that it's not really something I've really done much of before, and kind of the crafting side of things is something I've really kind of neglected, and yet it's something that can make quite a big difference to your armor values and your damage output, and it's something that you should really be looking at, particularly as you start to get into the mid to later part of the game. So, for example, currently I'm running full guardsman. Well, I've not got my helmet on. There we go. Now I'm running full guardsman. I've got a full set of 4, and I've got an epic Punisher poleaxe. So I started running guardsman a couple of months ago, and it's slowly been degrading, but it's actually lasted out pretty well. And I'm slowly starting to swap a few things out. I've had to redo my weapon. And I got quite a nice craft out of it. I was pretty pleased with the slashing damage. Agility is not amazing, and the piercing damage is pretty irrelevant, but the 268 on the slashing I was really quite pleased with. So that's going to be something I'm going to want to be keeping long term, most probably, unless I happen to get an even better one, but it's unlikely. So, you know, once this wears out, once this endurance starts to get really low, I don't necessarily want to lose this. So instead of just crafting a completely new random one and risk it being blue and, you know, having bonus to armor or something like that, or an irrelevant statistic, I would rather recondition this existing one to get this back up to full endurance rather than losing access to it. And the same could be true for lots of different bits. For example, these are crafted, but my boots and my armor are actually not crafted materials, because back in the day, back sort of a couple of months ago, there wasn't so many readily accessible schematics for this sort of stuff, so you kind of just had to buy the dropped stuff off the market, which is what I did. But the helmet is crafted. Now, in this case, we're going to be using the helmet as the example. The things that it gets: critical defense +6 and critical value +3. Not really all that amazing. I can't say I'm super impressed by that. So we may end up, hopefully, getting a better one by the end of this. But as you can see, its endurance is starting to get a bit low. It's a bit worn. You know, it's got a lot of ability life left in it, but for the purpose of this video, this is what we're going to be using. So we need to whip this helmet off if we're going to think about reconditioning it. And of course, we need to have a suitable schematic to do this, because when you recondition an item, it basically requires exactly the same amount of materials as if you were to recraft it from scratch. The main advantage you're getting is if you have a good piece of equipment, you get the option to keep it, and that's kind of important. As you can see, we've got 2 rare helmet schematics. You don't need to have them in your inventory. They can stay in your personal storage. Now, you might think you want to go to the smith for this, but actually you'll find you don't have the reconditioning option over here, so you actually have to head over, and it'll be in a different place depending where you are on the town. You just need to have a look on your map and come and find your armor, and this is where you'll be doing your reconditioning. So once you open up the window, you just need to insert your item in question, which is in case my helmet, and you'll see the materials that it requires. You know, basically the base hero crafting materials, you should have plenty of these. The powdered silver, a little bit rarer, and of course the actual helmet schematic a little bit rarer, but these are pretty readily available on the market. If you haven't already, and you're watching this video while Season 1 is still on, for 50 conquest tokens you can actually get a rare helmet schematic, so things like this shouldn't be too hard to come by. And it's going to cost 1600 bronze to do this. So let's set this off reconditioning now then. So it's doing its thing, and we should end up with 2 options. So we do. So these are our 2 options. So we can keep the original, and it will push it back up to 200 endurance. So it will go back to full health, and it will have all the same statistics that it did before. So if you had a legendary helmet and you didn't want it to break, you could keep that item going forever, because you'll always be able to choose this original condition. But you'll also get a secondary option of a different crafting condition. So it's just got recrafted as if you crafted it as normal. So in this case, we got plus 436 health and a 15 piercing defense. Actually a fairly tough one, to be honest. I don't fully know the values or the usefulness of critical defense in a helmet. I think I'd probably rather have that little bit of extra health though. 436, not to be sniffed at. So I think I'm actually probably going to go for the different one here. So I'm going to confirm that as my choice. And there we go. We scroll back over. You can see it's back up to full health. And basically, yeah, it gives you that choice. You should really be, and if you have any decent quality gear, you'll be better off reconditioning it than crafting the same piece from scratch, because at least if it turns out the piece that you craft is really crap, you get the option to basically to keep the original, so you don't actually lose. You can never go backwards effectively. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I just kind of wanted to touch on that because it's something that not many people seem to really do. And yeah, something I've really not done enough traditionally, so I'm starting to get into a lot more recently, and it's going to give me, hopefully, a better effect on the battlefield. Anyway, hopefully that was useful. If it was, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe to the channel for a load more Conqueror's Blade content, and I shall see you guys all on the next video.